I'm about to show you something awesome in The Witcher 3, which I'm sure you didn't know about. Have you ever wondered why you keep running into Shani in Hearts of Stone?
Shani?
Geralt?
Why Gaunter O'Dimm is so eager to bring the two of you close together? And why he shows how you failed to save her in his nightmare world? Well, that's because the ending of Hearts of Stone was meant to be different. In addition to the mark on Geralt's face, Gaunter had another way to keep the Witcher in line. He would vow to kill Shani if Geralt interferes with his plans, and Shani could actually die. These events were never included in the game, but thanks to the wonderful people at Brothers in Arms, the entire sequence has been added to The Witcher 3 and is now fully playable. Let me walk you through all the new scenes and choices, and then we can discuss how these events came to be. It appears that after meeting Geralt at White Orchard, Gaunter decided that the Witcher is the perfect proxy by which he can take Olgierd's soul. And so Gaunter begins to set events in motion prior to the beginning of Hearts of Stone. But we don't realize this until much later. At first, Geralt suspects nothing until he officially fulfills all three of Olgierd's wishes. Here we have the first new addition, during the scene in Oxenfurt where Gaunter stops time. At this point, you've already done what was needed, but as Gaunter adds another condition, he also reveals what he'll do if you refuse.
You must do one more thing. Draw Olgierd to the Temple of Lilvani.
We never discussed that.
Recall that I said, and I quote, "I believe, however, that all will end well, and once it does, we three shall meet and thank one another for the voyage we shared." End quote.
Yeah, I remember.
Fulfill your end of the bargain, and I will remove the brand. If either side fails to fulfill the terms of a contract, the offending party is customarily subject to a contractual penalty. In your case, Shani's death.
You son of a bitch.
No one is forcing you to break your word, my friend. But if you nonetheless do, there is no place under the sun where she will be safe.
If we agree to his request, we bring Olgierd to the temple and allow Gaunter O'Dimm to take his soul, nothing bad happens to Shani, and the expansion ends, as it does, without the mod. But if we decide to do things our way, a lot can change. As usual, we seek Shani's help to get to the professor who knows more about O'Dimm. But along the way, there is a new exchange, because now Geralt is concerned.
So the Eastern Front, and then?
Depends where they send me.
Trust me. Get as far from here as you can and never come back.
All right. Don't know what's gotten into you, but fine.
Nothing, just be careful.
Always do. So don't worry.
Geralt doesn't say anything else until we learn more about Gaunter's true nature, which happens when we meet the professor. Normally, Geralt only asks how he and Olgierd can get rid of O'Dimm, but now, in addition to that, we ask about avoiding the penalties for breaking the contract, which can give us a clue on how to save Shani.
O'Dimm wields contracts, word traps, duels of wits. Challenge him to such a duel. He'll agree, and can be beaten. But remember, there is only ever one stake. The sole thing he truly desires. Human souls.
What about his threats? The penalties for reneging on a pact?
Examine his words closely. Remember precisely what he said. Therein lies the key.
Said he'd kill my friend. That there's no place under the sun where she'd be safe.
Think it over. Dissect the words. He delights in displays of intellect and often leaves small loopholes.
Why would he do that?
Uncontested mastery amuses him not one bit. To win, unchallenged, bores him. He's a gambler. He likes a close game, which has its advantages.
Like what?
He plays honourably. Outwitted, he accepts the loss with dignity.
In other words?
He will not seek vengeance eternally.
Now, I wish to point out that all of this dialogue is original. It has not been altered or translated or AI generated. It was written by CDPR and voiced by the original actors. It simply never made it into the final version of Hearts of Stone. Anyway, here's where things get interesting. At this point, the secondary objective of the quest is completed and the game tells us to go to the temple. But we can go back and talk to Shani once again. And in addition to the regular dialogue and playing Gwent, there is an extra option to decipher Gaunter's words and warn Shani about it. Additionally, here we discover that Gaunter had set these events in motion well in advance and that he is responsible for Shani's entire involvement in the story.
Been thinking. Why'd you come back to Oxenfurt? An order from High Command, or...?
No. No one ordered me. Funny you should ask, because I've wondered about that too. But I'm a medic. In wartime, I belong near the front. I was supposed to go to Temeria, or what used to be Temeria. Then one day I woke up and felt I had to go to Oxenfurt. Right away. So I asked to be transferred.
What do you mean, you felt you had to?
It's hard to say, really. I just felt this need. As if some unseen force, a voice in my head, was commanding me to change my plans and come here.
Promise me something. Go down to your cellar and don't come out until I say you can.
Is this a joke?
Wish it was. You need to hide from the sun. Know it sounds stupid, but we can't risk it.
Will you tell me what this is about?
Hope I can, one day. For now, hide in the cellar and be on your guard.
And finally, we go to the temple. Everything is the same as before, until we try to intervene.
Wait.
Do not interfere, Witcher. Remember what I did to the last fool who interrupted me. And recall the penalty should you decide to cheat.
If we still insist on challenging him, and we solve his riddle, he will leave Olgierd in peace, as usual, but soon afterwards he will attempt to kill Shani, and if we never warned her about it, she will die. But first, there are a few exchanges with Olgierd, in which we can also bring up Gaunter's threats.
Mirror took everything. Everything I loved, all I held dear.
Threatened me with the same. Said he'd kill a dear friend.
But now you've defeated him, the danger's surely past.
Dunno. I'll go see her right away.
At least you've somewhere to go. I've nothing left.
Not true. Got your heart back.
A bitter victory. Now at last I sense how much I've lost.
Back to Oxenfurt. Need to look in on my friend.
I trust she's safe and well. Thank you again, Geralt.
When we head towards Oxenfurt, at just under 500 steps away from Shani, if we look in the right direction, we can see a massive lightning strike hitting her house, even if it's the middle of the day. Here's what happens if we approach, if we had told Shani to be careful.
Shani! Shani! Shani, are you alright?
Just... peachy. How did you know lightning would strike the house?
Didn't know it'd be lightning.
There was no sign of a storm.
You're alright. That's what counts. Rest doesn't matter. Not anymore.
Let's get out of this smoke pit.
Doubt this place will be inhabitable anymore.
I was leaving anyways. Only regret my entire wardrobe went up in flames.
Should have told you to take your things to the cellar with you.
How did you know?
Wasn't sure, but I couldn't risk it. Not after I'd pieced together some things I'd learned about Gaunter O'Dimm.
I think he did this? But the house was hit by lightning.
Definitely didn't do it with his own hands. Not how he works. But he has power. Lots of it. Wouldn't be surprised if he could command lightning. He was behind this. Don't doubt it one bit. Held sway over many things, not just people. He's evil incarnate. Though I gotta admit, he plays fair. Gives his opponents a fighting chance.
I'm not sure I follow.
He threatened me. Said if I breached our contract, he'd punish you. It was why he'd brought you here. And why he did everything to bring us closer together.
You mean to say that morning? When I decided to come here?
Said some force was pulling you to Oxenfurt. Now we know what that force was.
Incredible.
It's over now, fortunately. What will you do?
I need to regroup. I'll stay with Aldona for now, but then, like I said, I'm off to the Eastern Front. You?
Same as ever. Only thing I know how to do.
So, guess I'll see you next time in less dramatic circumstances, I hope. And thank you.
See ya, Shani. Take care.
And here's what happens if we did not warn her, which is probably my favorite part.
Shani! Shani! Shani.
Seems I won't be leaving after all.
What happened?
Lightning struck the house.
I'll get a medic.
No. I'm a medic. I know when I'm not needed.
Don't say that.
Shh. Hold my hand.
Now, the ending where she lives is all nice and wholesome, but her death is a much more powerful scene. It's also not entirely clear what happens to Geralt at the end. Did he get drunk, perhaps? Who knows? Speaking of well-executed scenes, allow me to tell you some more about the content and how it was restored. I suppose restored is not the best term for it. Recreated is more fitting, because every single one of the new scenes was built from scratch by the people at Brothers in Arms. The scenes were, of course, built according to the original descriptions by CDPR, so they're not improvised, but still, the modders have had to put an enormous amount of effort to bring them to the game. I understand that this particular talented gentleman by the name of Moon Knight is responsible for the vast majority of the new cinematic content, and it's fair to say he's done an amazing job. You may actually have heard the name before, since he's also one of the people who compiled the massive documents based on which I made my videos about the original story, and occasionally he can be seen in my comment section too. I'd like to mention Mercy Rockoff as well. He's the lead developer of Brothers in Arms. He has worked on the audio and the lip sync of the new content, in addition to a ridiculous amount of fixes and additions in the past. And he's been also very kind to answer many of my questions while playing and testing the mod. As I was recording these new additions, I've also provided some feedback, suggestions for small improvements here and there, which may be implemented in the future. But everything that you see here and now is currently available. You can download it from the links in the description, and the best part is that every element of the mod is entirely optional. You can choose which parts to enable and disable, often without even having to go back and replay previous segments of the game. In fact, the death of Shani is not the only addition in the latest update, so expect a few more interesting videos very soon. Until then, tell me what you think about Gaunter O'Dimm killing Shani and everything else I showed you. I thank you very much for watching, special thanks to my supporters on Patreon and my YouTube members, and once again to the wonderful people at Brothers in Arms. Until the next video, stay tuned and be good.
You know, been wanting to ask you something.
Ask me now.
Just curious. You ever play Gwent?
Oh, Geralt. Geralt. Of course I play. You lost. Ma, you actually stink at this. Worse than an enema tube, in fact.
Need to demand satisfaction for that insult. We'll have to play again.